Okay, I met Jeff when we were in college at UC. We were in the marching band together, and we started dating then, and we got married about 2 years later. We were married for 21 years. We have 3 kids. They're David's 22, and Katie's 20, and Ryan is 7. We just were a very close-knit family. We did a lot of things together. We did a lot of outside activities. We did a lot of hiking and bike riding on different bike trails, and went on a lot of vacations down to Florida. That was our main spot in Siesta Key. It was on January 21st, 2005 when I would say my life changed forever from what we were used to. We just went on with our normal day that day. I was actually going somewhere with a friend of mine that day, and Jeff was taking Ryan out to Caesar Creek, and David and Katie were both at home. David was going to be watching Ryan later that afternoon because Jeff had a meeting that day, and he worked from home. And later that afternoon, after he had said he would be home, my daughter had tried to call him and didn't get a hold of him. So we tried several times over the next couple hours to get a hold of him, and it was getting to where it was getting dark, going to be dark soon, and I had this gut feeling that something was wrong with him, and I hadn't heard from him, and he was a very good one to call us, if there was something wrong. And I finally had called the park rangers out at Caesar Creek to see if they had seen him or knew anything about him, and they had told me they'd have someone call me back, and no one called back. So I called him again, and in the meantime I had called my brother and my neighbor just to see if they knew where he might be. And probably 10 minutes later my phone rang, and it was the coroner's office, and they called and they said, there's been an accident, your husband is dead, and your son is in the trauma unit at the hospital. And at that point I just went completely numb. I just didn't know how I would go on with the rest of my life without Jeff with us, and just taking care of the kids by myself. I just didn't know how I was going to do that. And we got up to the hospital and got Ryan and brought him home, and my brother had gone with us, and it was just Ryan questioning so much, where's Dad? I want my dad. And we were explaining to him how he was in heaven, and how Dad was going to watch over him. And we just came back home and kind of went through the week trying to get up to that funeral, and it was just a hard time that I honestly just didn't. I don't really remember the week. I was so completely numbed by it that I didn't know how to act, what to do. I just didn't even know what next step to take. And just with the help of my family, we got through the funeral, and after that, I think it was several months I went on just day to day with things that just had to be done, taking care of the kids. And it wasn't until I got involved in the Bible study here, where my cousin had invited me to come with her, and I told her several times I just didn't want to do it. I wasn't ready for something like that, and I really wasn't sure how that would help me. And my other big fear was my lack of Bible knowledge coming into that. I didn't know how people would react to that. And finally one day I decided to come with her, and everyone here was so great. They were just very warm, and just very caring with me coming in. I knew no one else except for my cousin in there, and I got involved in that, and I don't know, really it was the grace of God that kept me coming back week to week, because I really don't think I would have done that by myself. And every week we always go through, if anybody has anything to share, and it was a couple months probably before I ever said anything about what had happened. And when I finally did, just the reaction of people was so different than what I had imagined. I just was afraid of the reaction people would. They always gasped everywhere else I would tell that story. People were like, "Oh my gosh!" And just the reaction I got, just everybody was so encouraging, and wanting to help in any way they could, and just gave me some great Bible verses to go over, and just showing me different ways that God really will help me through this. And I just have learned so much through that on how He has brought me through this whole process. And He has shown me just how trusting Him and turning that completely over to Him instead of trying to keep control of myself, how He will get me through it, and He has control of my life. And with raising my kids by myself, He has just shown me, because I'm just so worried about them not having a father, that He's their Heavenly Father, and He will take care of them, and He wants what's best for them, probably more than I do. And I just feel like that has just really saved me and got me back onto the right track where I need to be. Before that, I wasn't as strong in my faith as I am now. It's drawn me a lot closer to God, and just has made me look at life completely different. You know, I just don't want to ever take anything for granted anymore, and it's just put a whole new spin on life, that I just want to live each day the best that I can, because you really don't know what tomorrow holds for you, and just to be thanking God every day too, just for all the blessings He's given us each day. I've been doing the Bible study probably for about 2 years, and this past year I have been in the leadership group. I've been leading a small group on Wednesday mornings, and that is something too, if you would have told me I was going to be doing that 3 years ago, I would have never agreed with that one. But that has been such a great thing to be involved in. I just love the women and on that team are so good to be around. And just being with a small group too, I've learned that sharing my story really helps other people. I think if they have something to share and maybe don't feel comfortable sharing, if I share my story, I've noticed that other people will come forward more with theirs. And I just think if I could help some people in that way, just to give them some of the encouragement that I've had, and just let them see just how there is a group of women out there that are very caring and very willing to help you if you need help, and just to help you get closer to God. It's just a great thing to be involved